Yes, beloved. Yes. The time is 12 o'clock exactly on Thursday afternoon. And if you are as excited as I am, you know we're excited because today community check-in started at 12 o'clock exactly. Now, none of you all are here, and that's okay because I know you're used to me not being this early. But there's going to be somebody who's watching this and they're not going to be watching it live. And I need you to know that we began exactly at 12 o'clock noon, Thursday afternoon, October 13th, 2022. Oh, yeah, Yolanda, you here. But I've been here since 12 o'clock, waiting patiently, diligently, dutifully, because I knew that you all weren't used to this type of promptness from me. But this is a lesson and a witness that God can continue to work on you no matter what age. Oh, I'm 46, but God is still working on me, y'all. 46 years old, but God is not through with me yet because I have continued to chop off my time until today. I got here at 12 noon. Welcome, beloved. Welcome. Check in, family. This is how this is supposed to feel. Yes, I'm excited today, you all. I'm excited about our word. Let me give y'all time to come in here and check in here. Um, I've got a couple of banners to write. Come on in. You know what I'm about to ask you to do. I am about to ask you to go ahead and like if you are on Facebook. It's got an interesting question. Today's word is in the form of a question. And the question is, who writes your story? That's what I want to talk about. I want to use our lives as they as I want to use a book, a novel, some great tome, Tome. For those of you who want to look it up, it's just a big book. As a metaphor for our lives. If a book was a metaphor for your life, then today's question is this: who writes your story? We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. That's our that is our word for today. Well, before we get into all that, let's take care of some business. Let's take care of some business. The first thing I want to do is I need to talk to those people. I haven't even talked to the people who may not watch this live. If you don't want to watch this whole thing, feel free to go to about 20 minutes forward. You can get into the rich part of what we're doing today, and that is the word and the prayer. If you don't want to hear the question of the day, if you don't want to hear all of our greetings and not catching up with each other, then go ahead and fast forward about 20 minutes. You can get into the word and into the prayer. To the rest of you all coming in, let me say welcome, 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 welcome to our community check-in. Um, I'm going to ask you to do what I'm about to do right now, and that is I am going to ask you to, what am I going to ask you to do? To like. I'm going to ask you to like and share this live. So that's what I'm going to do right now. If you've not taken a moment to like, if you're on Facebook, it's really easy. That blue and white thumbs up or that red and white heart, it would be such, you would do me so, it would be such a kind service of you to hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, I would love for you to hit that like button as well. And what I am doing is I am going to our Facebook page here at Fellowship of Love Church. I'm going to look for this live. I'm going to look for myself. There I am. And I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to like, let me see how it come up there, man. Boop. There it is. There's my like. If you've not hit that blue and white thumbs up or that red and white heart, then go ahead and do that for me. The next thing I want you to do is I would love for you to share this live. Thank you so much. I just saw somebody hit that like button. Thank you so much. Now we're going to share. I'm going to my feed and I am going to say check in with me to hear a valuable word about who writes our story. I'm going to put an exclamation mark. I'm going to post, and now I have shared. All right, all right, all right. By way of announcements, I want to announce again we'll be virtual worshiping Sunday this Sunday at 9 a.m. But I'm really, really excited about what I'm doing on my Instagram page. If you do not follow me on Instagram, I want to encourage you to. I'm going to try to find a way to make sure that I also post all of these lessons on Facebook. But if you're on Instagram, please follow me there. I am starting a 20-week series called Lessons from LeBron. You all know LeBron James, my favorite basketball player. Many of you may know or may not know this is his 20th season. He's going into his 20th season. Many of us believe if he stays healthy, he will break the most sought after record in basketball, and that is the all-time points record held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So it's a very special season for LeBron. As a fan of LeBron's, it's a very special season for me. No, I've never met LeBron and don't know LeBron personally at all, but I wanted to honor him because as a fan of his by giving lessons from his life. You all know I can find lessons from anything, right? And so I'm going to look into his life. I've started to read some of his biographies, and I'm going to give each week for the first 20 weeks of the NBA season, which starts for the LA Lakers next Tuesday. So every Tuesday for 20 weeks, I'm giving lessons from LeBron. 20 weeks, 20 lessons to honor his 20th season. So join me. If you don't follow me on Instagram, if you have Instagram, I encourage you to go ahead and get Instagram. Let's say hello to all of you who are here. Yolanda came in first with that little purple heart. We love purple. That's my favorite color. Good afternoon to you, Morel K. It's good to see you. If you're coming in, please take time to like and to share. Like this and share this. And right now we're just doing our hellos. I want to say this is Evelyn Ellis. Shocked that I was here on time. It's good to see you today. Troy Valdez, it's good to see you. Good afternoon to you, Dina. Good to see you as well. Patricia Cleaves, always a blessing to see you. Good afternoon to you. If you're coming in and say hello, we're just getting our hellos out the way. Then we're going to go to the question of the day. Michelle Gordon, always a blessing to see you from Augusta, Georgia. And Deacon Patricia Burton, pleasure to have you today on YouTube. Good afternoon, Pastor and Folk family from Facebook user that may be Amy, who probably came in the wrong way, but it's good to see you. Troy Valdez, it's good to see you. Good afternoon to you. He says, good afternoon to Folk family and friends. And our YouTube family. Amy's on our YouTube family as well, and she says hello. Karen says hello. Hello, Folk family and friends. And Angela Cook, always glad to have you. Yolanda Ellis Taylor, good afternoon to you. It's a blessing to see you today. Here's our question of the day. Who is your favorite author? Who is your favorite author or authors? Now, listen, y'all. I know we holy, but you can't give no biblical authors. No Jesus to this question. No God to this question. No Matthew, Mark, Luke. No Paul. No Moses. We don't want, you cannot give an author of the Bible. We just assume that's everybody's favorite author. We will assume that the biblical writers and God and Jesus is everybody's favorite author. Other than God and Jesus, other than Moses and Paul, who are your favorite authors? Come on, talk to me today. Don't be too holy for this. I want to know who your favorite author. Maybe it's one. Maybe you have a distinct favorite author. Maybe it's multiple. I want to hear from you about who they are. For those of you who have been giving prayer requests, that question, okay, well, you got 2 or 3. Evelyn, you can give me as many as 3. Okay, you can give me as many as 3 authors. Give me three good of your favorite authors. Now that has to make it a little bit more easy. 3 of your favorite authors. I'm about to start. I already have some prayer requests. And so let me go ahead and get these. Yolanda, I saw yours. So I am getting right now Lorene Simmons and family. Morel K, thank you so much. I'm finding your prayer request. You all are answering the question of the day. I am getting prayer requests. And so go ahead and tell me, who are your favorite authors, or who is your favorite author? That's what I want to know today. That is what I would like to know. All right, all right, all right. The question of the day is, as I'm getting these prayer requests, I want to know, who are your favorite authors? Okay, that's the question I want. This is hilarious. This is a good answer, Amy. Um, and I'm looking at my box of books right here. It's a good answer. Amy Cowherd says, even though I don't have the actual book, but you have heard it, you have heard it read. This is true. Bashan Jackson, from what the check-ins are based on. This is a fair answer. I'll take that and I receive it just with both my hands lifted up. I just receive it with both of my hands lifted up. Who is your favorite author? You can give me as many as 3, as little as 1. Y'all gotta have it. Come on, it can be from a childhood author, Judy Blume. What are some of the I don't know. Give me it might be somebody. Stephen King, doesn't he write books? Like a bunch of like the mystery books or scary books. I've never read a book from Stephen King. But give me your favorite authors. I want to know who your favorite author is. If you had to pick a book to read and one person to write it, who would it be? Okay. Give me one. Then Miss Evelyn says this question is too hard. Okay. But what I've done is I've said you can add 2 or 3 people. You got as many as 3 people to get. I see a few prayer requests. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to get these prayer requests. When I come back, I want to hear, when I come back to these comments, I want to know who your favorite authors are. And it looks like I'm going to have to start since y'all are so slow. Y'all are slow to give me answers today. Patricia Burton, thank you so much. I am getting your prayer requests as we speak. I have you. Thank you so much, Michelle Gordon. I'm getting your prayer requests as we speak. If you're here today, I would love for you to answer the question of the day. And the question of the day is simply this: who is your favorite author or authors, plural? Michelle Gordon, I am looking for your. Okay, some of y'all are impressing me with some of these authors. I see some of the answers coming in, and I am too impressed. Okay, Michelle, I'm looking for your prayer list. I know it's here somewhere. Okay, I must have gone too far. Michelle, let me start from the beginning. Michelle Gordon. Michelle Gordon. Michelle, I know I should have your prayer list somewhere here. Michelle, what in the world? I can't find your prayer list. You're going to have to forgive Michelle. You may have to write it all over again. Let me look. Hold on. Let me just see this. No? Michelle. Michelle, I'm so sorry. You are going to have to give me your prayer list again. I don't know where. I know you give a prayer list, and I know I have a normal prayer list for you. And somehow and some way, your prayer list is gone. That's the best I can tell you, is it's gone. So please, I'm going to add. So Michelle, I'm going to start your prayer list with you. If you want anybody else, go ahead and let me know, and I'll work on this. I'm so sorry, because I know I keep your prayer list. So I have you and Brian Gordon, and if you want to add to it, let me know. Hopefully, maybe I'll come up with it, but right now I cannot find it. I'm gonna have to ask your forgiveness. Yolanda, I am getting your prayer request right now. Oh no, would you please keep me updated on Anita Ransom? Maybe you can DM me and let me know what's going on with Anita, but I'm definitely putting her on the list, and I'm praying for her. Okay, now we got some good answers. Good afternoon, Felicia. It's good to see you, and I am doing well. Okay, y'all. And as soon as I said that, Amy put some prayers. Okay, let's go, Amy. All right. And Gloria, good afternoon. I'm excited about some of these answers. For those of you who are just coming in, do me a favor, like and share this as soon as you get in. Just go ahead and hit the like, go ahead and share. Then let me know who your favorite author is. And we're about to get into some of these answers. Okay, my first answer came from my friend Ogechi Opara. Good to see you. And what a profound list. My God. Toni Morrison, Leo Tolstoy, and Glennon Doyle. I don't know who Glennon Doyle is, but I'm sure they write profoundly, because Ogechi has probably one of the best minds, y'all, on this side of the Mississippi River. So we're glad to hear from you, Ogechi. Thank you so much for sharing who your favorite authors are. Patricia Burton says, oh, no, this is wrong. Patricia Burton says, the great Octavia Butler, my God, and Ernest Gaines, heavyweights in prose. Is Octavia Butler a feminist writer? Am I confusing her with someone else? Is not Octavia Butler a feminist author? Maybe I'm confusing her with someone else, but I think it's Octavia Butler. But let me know is Octavia Butler a feminist author? Patricia Burton, let me know about that. But I love these answers. Michelle Gordon says Stephen King. There he is. I had a feeling he would come up. And Terry McMillan are my top two. I love it. All right. Evelyn Ellis said it was hard, but here it is. She gave a toss-up. Thank you so much, Evelyn. I just saw you. Let me just say hi. I think Kelly just said hello. Good to see you. Tyshawn, great to have you today. We are talking about our favorite authors. And Evelyn Ellis said this was hard. So I said she could give me at least 3. And here we go. And we've talked about this. Oh, my goodness, the great Bell Hooks. We just got to pause for a minute. Rest in peace and rest in power and rest in heaven, Bell Hooks. One of my favorite authors as well. Alice Walker. I love this. And Thich Nhat Hanh. I love that list. Morel K says, my dad. Okay. I love this, Morel K. As you lift up your dad. Science fiction is Octavia Butler. Okay, well, there's a feminist author I'm thinking of. For some reason, Octavia Butler's the only thing come to my head, but maybe it'll come up one day and I'll just tell you who it is. But here we go. We're talking about our favorite authors. We'd love to know yours, Kelly. We'd love to know yours, Gloria Martin. I know you all just came in. If you have a favorite author, let us know. Amy Cowherd says Bell Hooks. Amy, I told you, you must miss when I said you cannot give a biblical author. So I'm skipping over Paul. Kimberla Lawson Roby, just a few. I like it. I like it. I like it. Karen Valdez chimes in. Sidney Sheldon, Stephanie Meyer, and the Obamas. Obama, you know what? I know Barack. I've read a couple of his books before. I've not read Michelle's, but he's a really, really good, clear, prolific writer. I like this. Sidney Sheldon and Stephanie Meyer. Thank you so, so, so much. Evelyn, I appreciate this. She says that if I miss someone today in my prayer list, that's okay, because her morning prayer includes all those on Reverend Jackson's list. May God bless you and may God keep you. Thank you so, so much. Science fiction is Octavia Butler. Okay, but is she a feminist? There is some, I feel like Octavia, who is a feminist. Let's see. Let me look this up. Let me just look up Octavia and feminist and see what comes up. Yes, okay, it's Octavia Butler. Okay, I knew, listen to this. The first thing that came up, this first article on Google says Octavia Butler, the grit of the first Black feminist sci-fi writer. So it is Octavia Butler. So she is both. She's both a Black feminist and she's a writer of science fiction. I knew I'd heard the name. I heard Octavia Butler it had to be when I was in seminary or in grad school. And I heard of her as a feminist. Now, maybe even then, clearly she writes science fiction. There's oh God, I have an ex-girlfriend who's a big Octavia Butler fan. And I remember when we were dating, I would continue to commit to one day pick up one of the books that she had on the what's it called, the coffee table and on shelves, because she was a big Octavia Butler fan. I never read it. We broke up, but maybe I will get some Octavia Butler one day in my life. Tashawn says, one of my favorite authors is, I'm gonna mess up. I know this lady. I feel like I have taught from a book she wrote, but I am not going to get it right. So let me just try it. Nozaki Shange. I feel so embarrassed by this. I should know this, but I'm gonna mess her name up. And Evelyn Ellis says that even the science fiction has a feminist twist in her writing. A lot of new people coming in. Do me a favor. 3 things I want you to do, even if you can't stay. Please please share this live, and then tell us who your favorite author is before you leave. Just tell us you don't have to stay. Hey, Ashanti, it's good to see you out of DC. Here's our question of the day. Oh, no. Well, the answer to our question of the day is from Patricia Cleves. She says Arthur Flynn and Maya Angelou. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that because, both of y'all on YouTube, so you can see that. Okay, there you go. Rick Warren. Okay, that's acceptable. We said no Bible authors, but this is a Christian author, Rick Warren. And he does write well. Rick Warren writes well. Very, very well. I got you, Patricia Cleves. Somebody else I missed. Amy wanted us to know Elian Harris is another one of her favorites. And here's Yolanda Ellis Taylor. She has 2, Rick Warren and Spencer Johnson. I love it. I love it. I love it. Felicia, absolutely. I'm going to get your breast cancer pop-up for this Saturday in my prayers. Where am I? Here we go. Boom. Okay, you all, let's get into this word. We're making great time today. Angela Cook has chimed in with her favorite author, so I want to give this some due. Her favorite 2 authors, Terry McMillan, Tony Jones. Okay. I need to tell you all my favorite author. My favorite, so I'm going to go, I'm going to give about 2 or 3 authors. Okay. Okay, everybody's coming in now. Ada says Jane Austen. Ada Carter's here today. Good to see you. And Patricia Cleves says Maya Angelou. I'm going to give you all 3 authors that I really, really like. 3 authors that I really, really like. And you'll like this. First one, I'm going to go Bell Hooks. I like Bell Hooks. I've read a lot of Bell Hooks. I love her writing. I love her thinking. I disagree with Bell Hooks sometimes, but I love her. My next author is Cornel West. Probably Cornel West might be one of my favorite authors. I like his writings. Now, Cornel West is grandiloquent in his writing, but being a person who loves vocabulary, I like to read him. I like to read him with a dictionary near me because what I do is I just circle the words I don't know. And very few pages of Cornel West writings go by where I don't have to circle a word and look it up. But I love that. I love the challenge. I love the enrichment of my vocabulary. Bell Hooks, Cornel West. Here's my third. My third is a fiction author. We've had this conversation before. We must have had this question before because I remember sharing this with you all. My third is a fiction author called Somerset Maugham. Somerset Maugham. He was actually a gay American writer or English writer who was in America, something like that. He's long gone. His most famous book is called Of Human Bondage, but he's also written Of the Moon and Sixpence. That became a movie. The Razor's Edge. But very, very good author. He struggles with a lot of religious and philosophical themes. He also struggles, almost every one of his books that I've read, in some shape, form, or fashion, is going to always deal with unrequited love, what it means to love someone who does not return it, and the pain, the gruesome turmoil of loving someone who does not, will not, and maybe sometimes cannot love you back. So those are my three. Those are my three: Somerset Maugham, Cornel West, Bell Hooks. All right, we've got to get into this word. We've got to get into this word. Before I get into this word, let me take off this ticker because I can't have this while I'm giving my little word. Let me take off this ticker. But let me just invite you, if you've not liked, please take time to like. If you've not shared, please take time to share. We are about to get into this word. And here's the question I want to ask you today. The question I want to ask you today as we get into this word, this is what I want to talk about today. Who writes your story? Who writes your story? I want to contend, I'm going to write these up as a banner, that there are 4 authors in general, some of these more than one, but 4 categories of authors, 4 categories of authors who write our story. Let me just put it right here. Let me do that. There are 4 authors of our story. All right. Who writes your story? The first author that I want to tell you that writes our story, if our life could be compared to a book, a novel, a tome, T-O-M-E, which means big book for those of you. I'm just trying to give y'all a vocabulary word, right? The first person, author of our story, I would argue, think about this: circumstances. Circumstances are authors of our story. Okay, I can't not get this because somebody just get the great Pearl Cleage. Oh my God, is one of my favorites. Pearl Cleage, great Black champion of Blackness, of Black people, Black women. We love her. Thank you so much for giving us your favorite author. The first category, first type of author that we have in our stories are our circumstances. Yes, our circumstances help write our stories. Because think about it. There are so many things about us that are very circumstantial. Where we were born, who we were born to, our initial socioeconomic status, right? Circumstances help write our stories. But there's another contributor to all of our stories. I want to argue that there are at least 4 authors to our story. 4 authors to our story. Now, I'm glad, Amy, you agree with that first one. I guess we'll see on each one if you agree. Here's the second one. The second is others. Now, you may not want to, you may at first glance say, no, Pastor, others don't write my story, but that's not true. Other people write our story. Can I give an example? Here's one example. Our parents, to some degree, they decide the school we go to, right? They decide how we dressed as a child. They decided a lot of times the extracurricular activities we were in. Here's another. If you've ever had a job and got fired or promoted, then your boss, to some degree, was an author in your story. To as much of a degree as other people can and do impact our lives, they are authors of our story. They are authors of our story. Amy, I'm trying to see if you agree with that. I want so I can go on. But I'm arguing today that there are at least 4 authors of our story. 1, circumstances. 2, others. 3, ourselves. We do have a voice in our own story. I want to talk about this a little bit more later, but we all have a voice in our own story. We are co-creators at times. Sometimes we are combative creators. We're struggling against the writings of circumstances. Sometimes we're struggling against the writings of others, and sometimes we're writing with our circumstances, and sometimes we're writing with others. But we absolutely have a voice. We absolutely have a say in our story. I'll talk about this later. The fourth author of our story, I hope we can agree with this, Amy, is God. God is one of the authors of our story. But I want to dig into this and hopefully give you a word today as you continue to think about how your story is being written and how your story will be written. What I want to suggest is that when we are younger, the first 2 and maybe even 4 have more say in our story. As we are children, Evelyn Ellis, I would argue that the 2 authors that are most impacted, save God, right? We know God is the ultimate author of our story. But when we grow up, I'm talking about just in the human world, circumstances have a lot to do with our story. There's so much about our story. As children, we don't decide. There's so much about our story, even as we grow as humans, we don't, even the fact that we are earthlings, we don't decide that. We were given that. Our existence on earth is a circumstantial existence, maybe divinely providential. You could argue between circumstances, God. I know some of you all won't say all circumstances are God, but for this, I just want y'all to stay with me today. Circumstances author our story, especially when we're young. When we are young, others author our story. The younger we are, the less decisions we make about our own story. I mean, right? In kindergarten, we have no say on the education curriculum. It's probably not to middle school or high school we begin choosing classes for ourselves. So for the first 8 to 9 to 10 years of our education, depending if you go back to pre-K and daycare, we don't choose our education. Others write that part of our story. And circumstances, are we a part of a public school or a private school? Those write our story. Here's what I want to say though. The younger we are, the more other authors get more say in our story. I'm about to turn this corner, Evelyn Ellis. But as we grow up, as we mature, the older we get, the more we should begin taking the pen. That's what happens in high school when we start choosing classes we want to take instead of choosing everything we have to take. That's what happens for many of us who choose our college or choose our major or choose to go in the armed forces or choose to go into the workforce. As we get older in life, we begin taking the pen. We begin taking the pen and writing our own story. In fact, beloved, I would want to suggest today for your own consideration that one of the marks of maturity is in part the willingness to take the pen and start writing your own story. One of the marks of a sign that we have matured, a sign that we have grown, a sign that we're getting bigger and better is we began to take our own pen and write our own story. Stay with me today because I want to help somebody today. I want to ask you a question today as you reflect on the story that is being written around you. Are you using your pen? Are you using your pen? In other words, beloved, what I want to ask today is your voice, Evelyn Ellis? Is your voice, Felicia Holmes? Is your voice, Tyshawn, a main writer in your story? Now, at first, many of us are tempted just to say, yes, of course, I write my own story. But if we begin to think more deep about this, there are some of us who right now are living someone else's dream. If you are living someone else's dream, trying to live the dream that your parents had for you, trying to live the dream that your grandparents had for you, trying to live the dream that your boss has for you, then if you're living someone else's dream, you have given them the pen to your story. There's someone here who may have allowed your spouse or your boo to take center stage in your life in such an unhealthy way that you really aren't even living for yourself anymore. You're living for them. You're living for your children. You're just trying to make sure they make it in the world. But you have not put out the pen that marks out your purpose. You have not put out the pen that marks out your destiny. Beloved, I want to suggest today that it is easy to slowly but surely give other people the pen to start writing your story. And so I want to ask you today to reflect on this question. Are you using your pen? Are you making the decisions about your life, about your attitude, about your peace? Or are you allowing some person? Are you allowing some situation? Are you allowing some circumstance to determine your peace, your joy, your direction, your future? I'm here to ask you today. It might seem like an easy question, but I guarantee you, if we begin to search deep into our lives, we have each allowed some circumstance. We have each allowed some other person. We have each allowed some other dream to take us from writing our story. Be careful, parents, because your children can take the pen and start writing your story for you. Be careful, romantic partners, because our boos and our spouses can unfortunately take the pen and start writing our story for us. Be careful, children, because our parents can sometimes take the pen and start writing our story for us. Be careful, employees, because we can sometimes allow our employers to write our story for us. But today, I want to encourage someone to take your pen. I want you to take your pen from your circumstances. Here's the next question. Here's the next question. Not only are you using your pen, but you need to reflect on this. Who are you giving your pen to? There's someone right here, right now. I'm talking to you. You didn't even come for this, but you have allowed whatever circumstance you're in to steal your joy, to set a limit on your dreams, to set a ceiling on your aspirations. And if you're doing that, then you've given your circumstances the pen to write your story. Somebody has let someone else's actions. Someone right now is angry about what someone else did. Someone right now is letting how someone else acts impede and impede on how you act. And if you are doing that today, you are letting them have the pen to your story. Someone here is living someone else's dreams, someone else's aspirations, someone else's goal. Who are you giving your pen to? A sign of maturity is to take your pen. But listen to this. But as we continue to mature, then becomes another sign, a sign of spiritual maturity. Because as we grow old and get autonomous, as we grow old and get agency, we begin to take our pens from others. Take our pen from our parents. Take our pen from our elementary and grade school teachers. And we begin to write our own story. But as we grow in the spirit, something begins to happen. We recognize and we realize that we don't want to author our story alone. We recognize as we begin to spiritually mature that we want a co-author. We want God to be a co-author of our story. And here's what I want to suggest. God never asked to author our story alone. I believe God invites us to be a co-author with God to write our story. The more we grow in grace, the more we grow in God, the more we grow in our spirituality. Just like as we physically and intellectually mature, we take our pen. As we spiritually mature, we begin to give it back to God. There's something about maturity that both takes our pen, and there's something about maturity that gives it away. The difference is, as we spiritually mature, we take the pen from others, we give it to ourselves, and we give it to God. And that's what I want to leave you with today. As you continue to grow in grace, as you think about your life on today and walk into the tomorrow of your life, I want to encourage someone to take the pen back. Take the pen back from that person who doesn't love you like they should. Take the pen back from someone who's trying to ruin and run your life. Take the pen back from your past. Take the pen back from your failures. Take the pen back from your issues. Take the pen back from your trauma. Take the pen back from your sadness. Take the pen back from your frustrations. Take the pen back from your failures and take it back and begin to mature. But then I want to help somebody else. But don't just take it back from the circumstances. Don't take it back from others. But I want you, beloved, to start giving the pen back to God. Because when you start giving the pen back to God, your story gets richer. When you start giving your pen to God, your story gets greater. When you start giving your pen back to God, your story begins to become more protected. When you give your pen back to God, you can argue and you can say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. When you give the pen back to God, you can stand on the promises of God, and your story can articulate, if God be for my story, it is more than the world being against my story. And that's all I've come to tell you today. That's all I got for you today. Take your pen back from people and things that are hurting you and give your pen back to a God that wants to love you, to a God that wants to grow you, to a God that wants to make you, to a God that wants to mold you, to a God that wants to help you, to a God that wants to lift you, to a God that wants to love you. Who is writing your story? I guarantee you, if you look deeply in your life, there's some circumstance or there's some person that you need to take the pen back from. But I also want to suggest to you that as you look into your life with God, there's room for you to give more pen to God. Our lives are at our best. Our stories are at our best when we share the authorship with God. When we let God direct and we let ourselves write. When we let God push and we let ourselves give some answers. When we let God guide us and we let ourselves begin writing our story. Beloved, there's someone here who has a dream that you have not followed. There's someone here who has an aspiration you've not looked into. Take your pen back. And as you're taking it back from circumstances, and as you're taking it back from others, as you begin to take that pen back, then you begin to spiritually mature and you begin to give it back. You begin to give it back to God. God, I want you to lead me. God, I want you to grow me. God, I want you to guide me. And that's all I have for you today. Take your pen back and begin giving your pen to God so that you and God can become co-authors in your story. Every head bowed, every eye closed, and every heart praying. God, today we love you, we honor you, and we bless you. We thank you for who you are and for what you've done. Today, God, I'm coming to you as your child and your servant. And I'm asking, God, that where I may have let other people take my pen, God, I'm praying right now that you would let me take my pen back. God, if there's some set of circumstances that have depressed me, that have hurt me, that have troubled me, that have given me trauma, that have affected my mental health, I'm asking for the strength, God, to take the pen back. And then, God, where we don't have the strength to take the pen from others and circumstances, I'm asking that you would take it for us. God, if we don't have the strength to pull that pen from someone, God, I'm asking you to pull the pen for us. God, if we don't have the strength to take the pen back from the circumstances, I'm asking you to pull the pen from us, God. God, even right now, if we don't have the strength to write, I'm praying that you would write for us. Write our destiny. Write for us dreams. Write for us blessings. Write for us miracles. God, I'm praying that you would begin to pen things in our lives that we don't have the strength to pen. I'm praying that you will begin to pen things in our lives that we don't have the power to pen. I'm praying that you will begin to pen things in our lives, God. Pen things against the weapons. Pen things against our enemies. Pen things against our haters. Pen things against our challenges. Pen things against our mountains. Pen things against our rivers. God, take the pen where we cannot. Take the pen where we are not. Take the pen where we will not, and begin to write for us. God, we come with so many people on our hearts and minds. And so we lift right now, God, those who have asked for prayer. I'm praying right now for Felicia's breast cancer pop-up shop and for all those who will popped up or will be popping up in Fayetteville on Saturday. I pray that a life is touched. I pray that a dream is continued to be continued. I pray that goals are met, and I pray that aspirations are reached. I'm praying for the Muddy Dash participants this Saturday. I'm praying for Robert Green, Dina Self and family, and Frenchie Santini. I'm praying for Antonio and Amy Cowherd, Danielle Williams and Sister Anita Ransom, Brother Timothy Ellis, Brian and Michelle Gordon, Tanya Pate and Buddy Pate, Gloria Robinson and the Carter family. I'm praying right now for the Clemens family. I'm praying for Nona Honeycutt and Cora Smith. I'm praying for Mackenzie Morrell and Trey Morrell, for Yvonne and Michael Honeycutt, Vanice Williams and Morrell Kay, Lorene Simmons and family, Patricia Perry, John Beatty, Marion Jones, Ruthie Prophet, Samuel Perry, Tracy Blackwell, and James Walker. God, we love you today, and we thank you for this opportunity to connect with you in prayer. I'm praying, God, that you would release us from our sins, our wrongdoings, our weaknesses, our faults, our flaws, and our failures. And help us today, God, to just get a little bit closer to you. Move us closer to you, closer to your grace, closer to your love, closer to your power, closer to your peace. God, move us closer to you. And then, God, we say thank you. We sit today, God, in gratitude, each of us in different circumstances, each of us in different situations, but all of us, God, thankful that you've given us this day, our daily bread. And we pray, God, that you will continue to give us gratitude. And I pray that you will continue to give us things to have gratitude for. This is my prayer. I pray it in the loving, liberating, and life-giving name of Jesus. Amen. And thank God. Now, here's the good news, Ashanti. As I open my eyes, I see Ashanti said, "Shucks, I missed everything." The good news is all you got to do is go back to Facebook, and it will be on there. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. I hope that you will join me this Sunday at 9 a.m. in worship. We are having an all call to you all for you all to get on the Fellowship of Love train as we are going to where God is taking us. And I'm praying that you will go with us. I'm praying that if you don't have a place to serve in your own life, I pray that you'll consider Fellowship of Love as a place to serve. Whether you're a member or not, ask me or reach out to me, and let's find somewhere for you to give yourself, your energies, your talent, your time to God. Until next time, though, I'm touching and agreeing with you, Morrell K. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Yolanda Davidson and Michelle Gordon. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Evelyn Ellis. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Troy Valdez and Yolanda Ellis Taylor. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Ashanti Edmond. Yummy, Yasmin James Fry. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Felicia Holmes. I'm touching and agreeing with you. And Amy Cowherd, I'm touching and agreeing with you. May God bless each and every one of you. May God keep each and every one of you. And please remember to live in love. Y'all have a great day and have a great weekend.